What happened, how the child got in there is not my business. But we just can't build 15-foot walls around everything we have in the zoological park.
The male western lowland gorilla named Harambe was killed Saturday by a special zoo response team that feared for this little boy's life, who got into this area that had never been breached before. In the 38-year history of this exhibit, this area of the zoo, never had it been breached before. And the director, Thane Maynard, said the gorilla was agitated, disoriented by the commotion during the 10 minutes that the boy was in there. He said the gorilla could easily crush a coconut in one hand, and there was no doubt that the little boy's life was in danger. And as you just heard, he said, we stand by our decision. There will be second guessing of this and second guessing of the parental response, but we thought it would be interesting today to contact Hogle Zoo, and Erica Hansen, who is the spokesperson for Hogle Zoo, joins us here in studio. Erica, how did the zoo here, this legendary zoo of ours, find out about this, and what was the initial response?
Well, Doug, these zoos and these people are our friends. We're a bit of a family. We'll see these people in September when we go to our concert or our conference. It's a zoo's worst nightmare. You read these headlines and your heart stops, and you start scanning on your phone to start figuring out the information. For these people who have dedicated their lives to the preservation of a species, and that's what these people are doing. They're not doing it for the money. They love the animals and they love the species. For them to have to make that choice is absolutely excruciating.
One thing that I've thought about, too, and thankfully I can never recall anything like this in our local zoo. We've had some heartbreak. Mm-hmm. Last week, we lost our giraffe. And,
good old Daphne, over 30 years old. And it's so different when it's an aging animal. And you know it's coming, and you start to see.
Right.
But man, to go into work on an average day and be faced with trauma like that, our hearts just really go out to our friends in Cincinnati. That's such a difficult day.
Have we ever had anything that even approaches a tense moment like this at the zoo?
I knock on wood when I say it. We have, nothing to my knowledge. We've been there for 85 years now. This is our 85th anniversary, and obviously safety is our top concern. Safety for people, be that staff or guests. That's our ultimate priority. And we do everything we can to make sure those safety precautions are in place, but we also need the parents' help. There's nothing replaces a vigilant parent. I'm certainly not passing judgment on what happened in Cincinnati. I wasn't there. I'm also a mom. I know how quickly kids can move. I know that I've taken my hands to look for something in my purse and looked up, and it can happen in a split second. So, but if we get off of our phones a little bit and engage with the family and really teach our kids the best way to enjoy the zoo is, I think a lot of people equate it more with an amusement park, which actually isn't the right state of mind at a zoo. These are wild animals. We shouldn't antagonize them. We should be a little bit quieter. There are play areas when the kids need to blow off steam. But you go into some of these gorilla habitats or the big cats, and we really should be teaching them to be just a little bit more respectful of where they are.
Those at Hogle Zoo, when you did hear of this, it would only be human nature. I know when there are problems in a broadcast facility or something is breached, all of a sudden you second guess your security, you second guess, you have worked at KSL before during the Olympics. All of a sudden we went, okay, what do we need to do? Is Hogle Zoo in the process of going, could this possibly happen here?
I think in the zoo business, we always are. The keepers and security staff were constantly on alert. We do drills regularly. That's both with keepers and the animals. They'll do emergency recall drills. And that's what happened in Cincinnati. There were 3 gorillas in there. The keepers did their emergency recall. The 2 females responded, and the male did not. So even though we're doing these drills and things daily, there's still that wild card. The animal can still kind of go, I don't want to come in right now.
Right.
So you put something brand new in front of this gorilla, something that's making noise and kicking. And so there's going to be a curiosity there. Because a lot of people, and it's true, gorillas are not meat eaters. They don't hunt and kill like some of the carnivores that we have at the zoo, but they're exceptionally strong.
Yeah.
They're exceptionally strong animals. So even if he was, quote, protecting the child or, quote, playing with the child, he's so strong. And he whipped that kid around like a rag doll. And it wouldn't take more than a couple hits to his poor little head they're just stronger than anyone can even imagine.
When I saw him take out of that corner, with the little boy in tow, dragging him through the moat. I mean, were there rocks in the moat?
It took your breath away, didn't it?
It did.
And that moat was shallow in spots, but you also heard a waterfall in a lot of that video footage. And so then they were also worried that the child might end up, in deeper water than he can handle.
Right.
So the zoo has to make that decision right now.
The gut reaction from our experts here at Hogle Zoo, did this zoo make the right decision?
Absolutely. I mean, you always have to err on the side of the human being. There's a human being in there. A lot of people wonder about tranquilizers. And as you'd read in that press release, that takes a lot of time. They have to go and mix that potion and load it in the dart. And gorillas are notorious for plucking the needle right out of their chest. So now you have a 450-pound gorilla with a needle and he's a little bit agitated. You could miss the animal and hit the child. And that's a lot of, chemicals in there for a small little 40-pound kid. So you have to err on the side of the human being. And I do want to really emphasize that these people have dedicated their lives to the preservation of a critically endangered species. They don't want to lose the animal. If there's anything they could have done to spare that animal's life, they would have done it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you can't risk... imagine the conversation we'd had if they just said, well, let's wait and see what happens. Maybe he's protecting, maybe he's being playful, and then you've lost a child's life, and it's not worth that.
Boy, Erica Hansen is with us, and she is the spokesperson for Hogle Zoo. We had one of our texters who said, imagine the discussion we'd be having right now had they not shot the gorilla and the gorilla had killed the little boy. Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Our hearts really go out to them again. These are people that have dedicated their lives to preserving the species. It's why Harambe was there in the first place, because they're so critically endangered. They were hoping to breed. He had really great bloodlines. He's a beautiful animal. So it's just, they were just had the most difficult decision to make. But, I just also want to point out, a lot of the exhibit designs that we love so much are these open air.
Right.
When you can stand up here and look at our grizzly bears and it's open air, our gorilla exhibit is also open air. So we take as many safety precautions as we can, and it's something that we check every single day. And we need guests to also, don't set your kids up on, we see it every day, Doug, you wouldn't believe. People plop their kids up on the wall and everybody thinks, oh, I won't drop my child. But every now and then somebody does. So just don't let that be you. Don't plop your kids up on ledges. Just, we have plexiglass down low. They can look through, we have other vantage points.
Right.
Please don't lift your kids up and set them on railings. Keep them close to you. Don't let them run off too far. Even, we have even peacocks that roam around free. And these are all wild animals, and you just don't know what their reaction's going to be. So try to keep your kids close. Let them play in the new Creekside play area. That's where you can let them run amok, right?
Erica, I really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for discussing this, and I hope everybody just sends Cincinnati some support. It's a tough time.
Oh, what a tough situation that was for them and will be over the next little while as everybody's analyzing what could have been done, what should have perhaps, with the parents especially, keeping an eye on your kids. But as Erica mentioned, as I have mentioned, we've all had those moments. I'm sure it never occurred to this mother that 1 second the child would be next to her, and the next couple of seconds he would be down with a silverback gorilla. It is 9:47 here at KSL. When we come back, we'll get more of your response on the Doug Wright Show at KSL News Radio. Again, go to our Doug Wright Show Facebook page. You can see the video for yourself, and would love to hear your comments at KSL Talk.